What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me once again. Today is going to be just a quick brief video about once again the Classic Pass. I've already uploaded a video on the Classic Pass, just some thoughts and little tips and things like that that I've already uploaded a couple weeks back. But this video I want to focus on just 3 tips, 3 ideas of ways of getting into the Classic Pass. Because the Classic Pass can be sort of an awkward, you have the pinky going way inside the deck, and so it's not always the easiest thing to get into. And so, like, when you have a spectator, just, pick a card, how do you get in that position? And so, I'm going to share 3 ways that I have found most helpful to get into the Classic Pass, and these 3 methods are fairly clean. I'm sure they can be improved upon, but the first one, the one I just showed you, is placing a single card back into the middle of the deck and then being able to get right into the Classic Pass. So you would show it to the spectator, put it right there in the center, push it in. And obviously I'm flashing a little bit, but that's the idea. So what you want to do, basically, you're using the DPS principle, the diagonal palm shift. When you shove the card in, you're pushing in on the left corner, which is causing the right lower corner to protrude out. Okay, but instead of, here, let's try this again. Here we have the Ace of Diamonds. Stick it in the middle. So I'm pushing on the left corner, and what that's doing is causing this corner to pop out. Now, instead of taking it out, which is the DPS, what we're going to do is just take our pinky of our of this hand, and we're actually going to push it in, but we're going to push down on it as we push in. Okay, so they see the card go in. They don't see it coming out the side. And what that, allows us to do is to be able to get right in there to the Classic Pass. So you just push it in. It's coming out right here. You're using this to kind of pull down on it and push it in. And as you push it in, your pinky's just going to slide right in there. And then you're already set up. Then you can kind of, do whatever you do and then hit it back to the top. So just one more time. DPS principle, pushing it in the corner. You're actually like grabbing this corner with the pinky. You're grabbing a hold of it and really pushing down and then just pushing in. And that allows you to get your pinky right in there. So, okay, so that's the first method. Here's the second one, is to actually take the card, slap the top of the pack down. It's already done. That looks really clean, because this is what I like about this one. And you can obviously do this anyway, but you're really taking half the pack of cards and you're just slapping it right down on there. So it creates the illusion that this top half got slapped right down on there. And it's like it almost squares itself up instantly when you do that. But what I'm doing, I'll just leave this card face up for demonstration purposes, is I'm just getting my pinky just on there ever so slightly. And when I throw it down, I'm actually throwing it down sort of diagonal. So it makes that slapping sound, but my pinky is stopping this deck from otherwise squaring up. Now to the spectator, it looks just like, it looks like you're just throwing, the top packet right down there on top of the bottom packet. But in reality, you're just enabling yourself to get into the pass. So like I said, this is very easy, and you could, just show their card, flip it over, just put your pinky right there on the corner. I mean, just right on the edge. That's all you need, just enough to create a little step. And you could throw this pack down, and as long as that stays there, it will not square up. And then what you could do is, what I do is with my other hand, I'll come around here and I'll actually sort of pick this up right here, lift it up just enough to be able to get my pinky in, and then hit it. Hopefully you was able to see that. And you could do this in any way. This is just how I like to do it, because it looks pretty clean. Like, we'll choose a different card. You'd be like, all right, choose a card. They say, okay, this one right here. I take their card, their selection, and I put it immediately on the top, because what that allows me to do is break off 2 portions, about half the deck, spin it around, flip it over, just let the pinky lay right there on the edge, slap it down. As you can see, it's more of an auditory illusion, because they hear that packet slap down on the other one, and it sounds pretty clean. Then what I do when I come around here and square up, like I said, I either come back here and just sort of adjust and just sort of work my pinky in there, under the guise of, squaring the deck up, all the while going ahead and hitting the classic pass. So that's another one I like to do. That could be just a little, it's kind of difficult to explain that, but, well. Okay, so pack number 2. Okay, this other one I'm really fond of. That actually really sucks, because I dropped Chris Ramsey's first V2, so that does suck. But anyway, here's the third method. So it's dribbling the cards so far down, letting them take a peek, pulling it back on, dribbling the cards the rest of the way, pulling their card to the top. And this too has an auditory sort of illusion to it, because you're hearing the rest of these cards dribble right down on the pack, all the while hitting the classic pass. You probably caught what I did right there. So you basically, I like to dribble no more than like a third of the pack. And the reason why is I want to have a pretty hefty, I want to have a sizable chunk left in this hand. That way I can continue dribbling. That way there's plenty of cards to dribble and create that auditory, illusion. So I'll just, dribble a couple, and you don't have to do that. You could dribble the cards with just a couple, but you notice that the sound, the dribbling sound, is not as pronounced, obviously, as if you would have had more. So, couple, 7 of clubs, dribble them the rest of the way down, square up, it's on top. This is really easy. Like I said, I dribble down about a third of the pack. And if you tell the spectator, tell me when to stop, I always make sure I do a very slow dribble, because sometimes it's like the dribbling cards to a spectator almost puts them in a trance. And they just sort of zone out, because, they just see this bunch of cards cascading down on one another. And so I'll just be like, okay, this happens really fast. So I'm going to start dribbling the cards. I want you to tell me stop. Okay, on your mark, get set, go. And usually if I sort of amp it up like that and tell them, when you know, on your mark, get set, go, or hurry up, or I'll explain to them what I'm going to do. I'm going to dribble the cards. You tell me when to stop. It looks like this. It happens fast. Okay, on your mark, get set, go. Stop. There's about a third of the pack there, and I still have a chunk right here. They stopped on the 6 of clubs. Now what I do is I gather it back in this hand. The pinky comes in, and I'm actually dribbling on top of my pinky. But I'm doing it with this hand slanted down, because when the cards fall, well, let me do that. When the cards start falling, they're going to want to fly off. So these 2 fingers are going to stop them from falling off there. And then you could hit it. And you can, like I said, you could dribble right on top of the pinky. Let me see if I can get a better shot of this. Say it's right there, you know. It's the 8 of hearts. Well, I'm not doing it very good. Hold on. But whenever you're doing that, you may think that, oh, they're going to suspect, they can see my pinky in there, and they can see me trying to hold a break. But whenever this other hand is dribbling, and you're right on top, all they hear is that sound. They can't even really see. They can't even see the other pinky. If I was to just dribble, stop, and without holding a break, continue dribbling, you don't even really see the pinky all the way back here at the back. And so the dribbling cards and this hand sort of hides it. 8 of hearts. That time I exposed it a little bit more. But like I said, you know, just dribble so many cards, get your pinky in there, and dribble right directly on top of the pinky. That's the reality of it right there. That's what it looks like. That's the end product. The end product. Now if I'm holding it down, obviously the break is going to be concealed, but that gives me time that whenever the cards are finished dribbling, I can go ahead and square up, hit it, and be done with it. So one last time. 2 of hearts. Just like that. And let me see if I could do this one last good time from this angle. That. So we have the 3 of clubs, which just fell on the ground. We have the Jack of diamonds. And square up. That's the reality of it. That's what it looks like. Remember, you have to keep this hand slanted down. That way when these cards are falling, they don't fly off into the floor everywhere. Just like all my Chris Ramsey cards did right there. I don't know if you could see that. So that's what that looks like. Yeah, those are my 3 favorite ways to get into the Classic Pass. There's the dribble. There's, I don't know what you would call this. I guess just I don't even know what you would call that. It just looks really clean. And the DPS principle. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And sorry for the few setbacks and mistakes that happen. Just like I mentioned on the other video, for me, my favorite decks to use when I know that I'm going to be doing the Classic Pass, the decks that I prefer to use is anything borderless. Obviously, I started out with Chris Ramsey's, the V2s. Those have a border, but oh well. Normally, I would use like some Bs, something that's borderless, or Madison Dealers, Roadhouse, which is what I just had. Because the borderless cards, they hide the discrepancy more so than the bordered cards. That's just the reality of it. You know, so I hope you enjoyed. Thanks. If you feel so moved, please subscribe. I still have the giveaway going on my channel where I'm giving away a pack of Skid Rows, brand new, unopened. As soon as I get 100 subs, 100 subscribers, it will be a random, you have to comment, like, and I will randomly pick one of my subscribers and I will send it out to you. So you can check out that video. You'll see it in my channel. It's says like Skid Row giveaway or something like that. But thanks again. God bless.